Hi guys, Jessica here from the Healing Hands Duo. I just wanted to quickly jump on here as today is Cyber Monday and this is the last day to take advantage of any of the sales that we have through our affiliates. So I wanted to jump on here really quickly to kind of go through, because I know I just uploaded a Linktree account, in my bio, and I didn't really go through all of the individual products. But one of the major reasons why I wanted to jump on here was because I'm getting, due to a previous video that I uploaded, it got over 90,000 views. So I'm getting a lot of DMs in regards to that. And I just want to say I appreciate all those DMs. And it's great to read through all of your amazing comments. But if you guys are leaving me questions about products, for instance, like things like the Blue Shield, I've been getting a lot of questions about Zeolites lately, a lot of questions about blue blockers. It's hard for me to actually siphon through those DMs and know which ones are actually business related as opposed to which ones are just, in fact, just comments. So if you do have a question and you do want to take advantage of these sales, please send me an email through my business page, which is thehealinghandsduo@gmail.com. I'll be able to get back to those a lot more quickly today and hopefully before midnight tonight. It is already 1 o'clock here, so I should have done this video yesterday. But as some of you may know, I was involved in a bunch of the rallies that were happening downtown, as well as the one that was happening here in Mississauga to try and end all these draconian lockdowns. Anyways, I don't want to get into that right now because I just want to go through this massive list that I have here. I've had all of my affiliates kind of get out. I mean, all of the companies that I work with kind of just send me my last requests. So Blue Shield, guys, is the EMF protection that Kevin and I have been recommending for years. A lot of people are either asking me questions about what it does. If you guys wanted to go over to our website, Blue Shield, we have an entire recommendations page and we have a page dedicated to EMF as well as grounding and blue light. I've got some blue light glasses and stuff like that that are recommended on that page. I'm going to be switching those all out because I'm actually working with 2 companies now for blue light blockers, and that is Blue Blocks as well as True Dark. So ignore those, but if you wanted to see what the Blue Shield was about, you can go head over there. However, in the link in my bio, the very first link, it links back to everything that we kind of recommend for EMF. There was another question that I got about how, unfortunately, this woman, she can't unfortunately afford to buy a Blue Shield right now, but if there were any tips that I could offer. I might either do a separate video about that, but I do believe I mentioned that in several blogs about what you can do just to kind of protect yourself right now and at least lessen some of that load on yourself. So if you want to head over to that link, that's the top link there. It should head over to a blog post that I've done with a bunch of different links back to videos about what EMF does, videos that I've done, studies that they show the damage of EMF. It has the links back to the other products that I recommend, companies that I recommend, as well as the Blue Shields. But the Blue Shield EMF protection, the reason why I recommend this one above all else is because Kevin and I have gone through a ton of different products, and honestly, we just didn't feel that many of them had enough information to support what they're doing. Plus, again, guys, there's only so much blocking that you can do. We always first and foremost recommend, and this is usually when you'll either call my husband and either set up for a consultation over the phone where he can go over this stuff in depth with you and tell you kind of what you need to do. Or you can set up an in-home consultation, an in-home inspection, and that's where he'll come out with his meters and test your home for all this stuff. However, there's only so much that you can do. Kevin and I have done a lot to our house, as I've mentioned in other videos. We have literally carbon painted this house. We've changed the wiring in our house. We've got dirty electricity filters all over the place. We've changed out all the lighting. We have no LEDs in this home. I've explained this all in other videos. But again, this did take us about approximately 5 to 6 years to do all of this work. And because he is an electrical engineer, he was able to do a lot of this himself or using some of his guys. So in that case, I know not everybody's going to be able to do that kind of thing and do a full-on renovation. During the time when we decided we wanted to get rid of all this stuff in our home, we were also under a mass renovation to our home, and our house basically had no walls. So it was very easy for us to go in and rewire our whole entire home with BX cabling and stuff like that. So what I tell people is do as much as you possibly can do to block this stuff. Use your smart devices as minimally as possible. Avoid exposing yourself to too much blue light or LEDs. Get rid of all of the electronics from your bedroom if you have to. Maybe that would be the only room that you would want to shield is your bedroom, using maybe carbon paint and blocking out the window with a fabric that helps to prevent the EMF coming in through the window. And of course, applying some EMF dirty electricity filters, which I have all of this stuff on in my links in my bio. So that's something that you'd want to do. The other thing is you don't want to have, plasma TVs in your bedroom, cell phones in your bedroom, a Wi-Fi router in your bedroom. You want to turn off the Wi-Fi to your house, I would say indefinitely, and go hardwired. But if you can't do that, then at least put it on a timer so that it shuts off at night. So I hope that answers that question to the person that was asking me if there was anything that they could do for free right now to protect themselves and their children. So that's what I would recommend there. Blue Shield, however, is an advanced piece of scalar. It's a scalar piece of equipment. What it does, it doesn't block anything. So people are like, oh, how do you measure it? You don't measure it. Scalar waves are very difficult to measure. The way that the company has done their studies on this is actually testing on biological life and seeing what the effects are of the equipment on biological life. So the idea is that when you are exposed to these scalar waves, is the body comes into proper homeostasis and resonance, because the idea is when you're exposed to a high amount of EMF, we have all these issues with our blood. It causes these rouleau formations, and it actually puts the body into a constant state of fight or flight. So the idea is to kind of bring in some type of equipment that creates its own frequency or scalar waves. A lot of people back in the day used to use things called Schumann resonators, and the idea is that the Schumann resonance is what you get when you walk barefoot on the earth. You're actually picking up on that resonant frequency of the planet, and that tends to bring down inflammation in the body. It tends to actually open up the blood cells and allow the blood cells to flow better. It helps to oxygenate the body. Free ions go through the body. So the idea is that people have now created equipment that you can put in your home, like Blue Shield, to kind of create that same wave throughout your home so that the body can entrain to that piece of equipment, which is a preferable scalar wave or frequency for the body to keep it in constant resonance, as opposed to all this crappy stuff in our environment from all of this Wi-Fi garbage and of course all of this stuff that they're implementing with, the other thing. So that's what this product does. And I've said in other videos, there's various different strengths depending on what's involved or what you have in your area. So that's all in my last blog post. Guys, they usually only do 10% off. They're doing 15% off on those products right now. But that special, that Cyber Monday special, is only going until tonight at midnight. And this will be their last special for the year. So if you want to take advantage of that now, check out the link in my bio and then head over to whether you're in Canada or the United States and use the code that I've got there, and that should apply the 15% discount. So that's one thing there. However, if you really want to know what's going on in your home and you want to actually start blocking some of these things, the other two things that I recommend is getting a full consultation done and an in-home inspection. Of course, Kevin and I are here in Ontario near Toronto out of Mississauga, so we only travel out, within about an hour to 2 hours from our home to do these inspections. So you would have to find a specialist in your area and possibly get this done. That would be my first and primary suggestion for you, so that you know exactly what you need to do in certain areas of your home to safeguard it. However, getting an in-home inspection can be, usually you're having an EMF specialist come out or an electrical engineer, so that can get quite costly for some people, which is why we always say if you can't afford to do that right now, then you definitely want to consider a Blue Shield device and just blocking some of this stuff randomly throughout your house yourself. So that's something there. The other thing is I reference back to a company called Electra Health EMF Protection. I've just signed up with them because we were using various different companies here in Ontario, but I'm working with them as an affiliate now too. So, the way that this works with my affiliation, so I'm completely transparent with all of you guys. When you shop these links, then they pay me a little bit of a commission just because I was already recommending their products. A lot of people think I'm selling out. It's not that. This is, in fact, my business. So when you purchase through my links, this is what you do to support my small business here in Ontario, like I said, in Mississauga. So they've agreed to send me a tiny commission if you order their products. You're either going to get these EMF products from them or somebody else, so that's entirely up to you. I've literally gone through these lists and I've done my research on all of these companies that I'm recommending, and I've been using all of these companies myself for like 10 to 13 years. So this is why I recommend these things specifically, because the other thing that I'm getting a lot of right now is a lot of people are sending me DMs saying, I don't have the thing that you're recommending, but what do you think about this EMF protection? What do you think about this one? What do you think about that company, this company? Guys, I could tell you that I don't know, because like I've used a lot of companies out there, and unless I have direct experience with something, I do not like to recommend it. I sometimes will get my husband to look at it and he'll be like, yeah, the science behind that's pretty shoddy, or, I don't believe it's going to do much or not. But again, that's just me guessing. So I don't really want to tell you guys, yes, go with this company as opposed to that company or that, because that company could be great, but I don't know anything about them. The reason why I selected the companies that I've selected here in my bio is because I personally use them myself, or we have used them with clients, and these are the companies I have experience with. So that is why I recommend those. So when you send me those comments, I will try to answer back to them, but if I've never used the company, I don't really want to recommend something that I've never used myself. So Electra Health, like I said, carries a bunch of things that we've recommended to people in the past. Like there's a few different companies that we've used. People ask me about air tubes. They carry some air tubes too. You can get air tubes that are very cheap, and then you could get ones that are very expensive. I would not be using those wireless ones by those iPods. I would not be using those at all. I would never put anything wireless near my head or directly into my ear canal, just to get that right out there, because people are asking me about that. I would definitely never do that. The other thing is we use the carbon paint from this company here. That's what we use to paint our house, and it can be expensive, and you do have to get it properly. You have to get it properly grounded. So that's something that you'd have to do with an electrician. And then the other thing is we have some of the filters that are from this website here. You can get some of the filters, the Stetzerizer filters are the ones that we have in our house, which is the dirty electricity filters. This is another huge thing, guys. The wiring in your home, because of the 60 hertz wiring, it gives off a crap load of dirty electricity, which in some cases my husband found was actually worse than the Wi-Fi coming into our house. So what this does is it kind of tries to take that, from what I understand, it takes that frequency and that dirty electricity, and it kind of tries to dampen that all down on that particular line in your house. We personally use Stetzerizer in our home, but I've been recommending, and I know a lot of other people that are now using Green Wave as well. So I have both of those options there. Green Wave is a little bit more user-friendly in the sense that it comes along with a meter so that you can check your lines in your house. And they have, the thing about them is once you plug it into your outlet, they have a place where you can actually use it still as an outlet, as opposed to Stetzerizer where it's just the cartridge, you plug it into that area and you can't use that outlet anymore. So that's another reason why people prefer Green Wave over Stetzerizer. Stetzerizer, the reason why we recommended it in the past was because we work directly with Stetzerizer. So again, both companies, we don't personally use Green Wave, but I do hear a lot of great things about them, so we affiliate for them as well. So that's another thing. I've got, the other thing is the other company, the Electra Health, has just cables and stuff like that. I'm trying to work with a company where we can get all the hardwired cables and stuff like that, where you can hook up your wireless devices like your cell phones and your computer screen, your laptops and all that, so that you can use that all wired. My house has been fully wired with hotspots into our walls, so I literally have this hardwired throughout the whole house, and that's something that you can do as well, but it's much more expensive to do it that way. But now you can buy adapters too, so that's another way. If you're going to be using your cell phone in the home, I would highly recommend you use it through an adapter and make sure that everything is connected back with Ethernet cables. Not only is this stuff reduce the EMF on yourself and the damage to your body, but it is also highly secure and much faster. This is the thing that's crazy with wireless technology, is they're trying to say that this is so great, but honestly, it'll never compare to fiber optics, and connecting back not wirelessly, but wired is actually a much better option, and it's much healthier for our environment, for our wildlife and all biological life for that matter. And again, we all know that they're only doing this because you have to follow the money. So anyway, that's something there. Green wave, dirty electricity filters is on there as well. I link back to a smart meter guard. The one that's on there now, I hate this because I don't want to be using them anymore, is on Amazon. But that is where we got our smart meter guard, and Kevin tested it. The one, they look like they've switched it out. So the one that we tested showed that it blocked majority of the EMF coming off the smart meter guard. Off the smart meter. So that I've left that there until I can find a better source for that. Blue light blocking glasses. Kevin and I have been wearing blue light blocking glasses now probably for about 7 or 8 years, guys. I have to tell you right now, if you're not using blue light blocking glasses and your kids are not using this, I highly, highly, highly recommend these. Not only to save your eyesight, but also to prevent the damage that blue light causes to the retina and the damage that it causes to your circadian biology and the damage that it causes to your sleep by destroying the melanopsin and the melatonin in the body. There is just so much research out there to suggest that blue light is very, very, very damaging. And unfortunately, with all of our technologies today, they emit a shitload of blue light in comparison to the natural blue light that is emitted off of the sun. So the one thing I noticed many, many years ago was that spending late nights on my computer, I could never sleep and I was getting really bad headaches and my eyes were constantly blurry until my husband decided that we were gonna go and buy blue blockers, is what he called them. They were, at the time, it was so crazy because at the time that we'd started doing this, it wasn't like the thing to do. So the only company that was really offering computer glasses at the time, and actually this would have been more than 6 years ago, this would have been 8 or 9 years ago now, would have been Gunners. And those provide computer glasses. And I still do use my Gunners today. They have a light amber tinge to them and block out some of the blue light. The difference between what you're seeing, the yellow glasses and the black glasses, and the red glasses, is the yellow amber ones you want to use for daytime use in artificial light. You do not want to be wearing these things outside. Guys, you do not want to be wearing sunglasses either. The eyes were meant to actually pick up on natural daylight. The idea is that when you see blue light during the day, it triggers the melanopsin in the eye to send signals to the body to start to slowly start producing melatonin for night, but to actually cut that off and allow the body to properly wake up and balance itself back into a proper rhythm, which is the circadian rhythms. And then at night, our eyes are not supposed to be exposed to any blue light, including all the artificial blue light, and that's to basically trigger our brain to say it's starting to get dark outside and it's time to go to sleep. But the problem with so many of us is we are constantly triggering these signals into our brain saying, no. So when we're looking at a computer screen or a cell phone right before you go to bed, your brain literally thinks it's daylight because you're just exposed to all of this blue light. So the problem with that is that even if you do fall asleep really quickly, the idea is that you're not getting into a deep REM sleep, which means the body can never fully regenerate and repair itself. And therefore, if you're struggling with an illness like I was, this also meant that your illness will heal. As you're trying to heal your illness, it will either not heal at all or it will heal so much more slowly. So I always say to people, if you're not on board with the blue blockers yet, this is something you guys need to be doing if you're using a cell phone regularly or a computer screen or laptop. Guys, use the amber ones during the day when you're in artificial light, and then at night. So the red ones are used for complete blue, in some cases violet, as well as green blocking. And this you don't want, they're hard to wear. I don't even really like wearing mine, but they're really hard to wear, but they're completely red and they make everything red. But you'll notice when you start wearing these, and they recommend about 2 to 3 hours before bed, when you start wearing these, you'll just automatically start getting tired regardless of whether you got lighting on in your house. So that is something to kind of train the brain back into your proper sleep cycles. So again, the amber ones are used for the day only in artificial light situations, when you're using a computer or a cell phone or something like that. But if you're going outside and you're in the car or you're outside walking, then take all your glasses off, take sunglasses off, everything like that. Allow the eyes to get as much natural light as they can during the early morning hours to kind of rebuild that circadian biology back. And then if you're going into artificial light, wear the amber ones and then switch it out at night with the red ones so that your body can start to get accustomed to going back to sleep at a regular time. And of course, so that your body starts producing melatonin properly again. Which, guys, this whole thing with this situation with this virus going around, one of the things that they recommend is vitamin D is one of the reasons that will help to ward off viral infections. And the other thing that people are talking about is melatonin. So this very, very, very important. There's of course other factors that I would tell people to be taking now to protect themselves, not just against this virus, but all viruses, bacteria, and parasites. But like I've said in a previous video, I'm working on a protocol that I will offer for free on my website here, hopefully in the next week. When you sign up to my mailing list, I will be sending that out to everyone so that everybody can kind of look at it and kind of go through and siphon through what they want to do to kind of increase and strengthen their immune system. So that's the thing about blue blockers. So I work with, there's two companies I'm working with now. Like I said, I used Gunners in the past. They're a larger company. They're still good. If you guys wanted to use them, you could go use them. The only thing is I find they're more geared. They were one of the originals and more geared towards computer glasses rather than blue blocking. So I've reached out. There's two that are really, I'm still in the midst of doing this, but one is Raw Optics and the other one's Blue Blocks. I would say that their companies are very, very similar. So I offer Blue Blocks on my bio, and right now they're doing a 25% off sale till the end of tonight too, guys. So this will be, most of these are just Cyber Monday things. So there's that, and what they offer is a prescription grade too. So you can get your eyes checked, and if you need a prescription, you can add these to your blue blockers. So that's why I recommended them there. But they are considered a higher grade blue blocking glasses, just like Gunners are. You used to have to get them at an optometrist's office. Like I actually had a prescription for mine. So that's why I recommend them. But if you don't need a prescription grade, then I also offer True Darks. So True Darks, the reason why I like their company too is because they also offer what's called the Sunset. I think it's by BIOS. It's a Sunset LED sleep bulb. Sleep bulbs, and these are LED bulbs that are better for you than standard LEDs. Personally, Kevin and I do not like LEDs, period, because they emit way too much blue light. And we have gotten rid of all of the blue light emitters or major offenders in our home, including all LEDs. So we do not use LEDs, and all of our pot lights are the old regular pot lights, which was a pain in the ass to do with our contractor because they were like, why do you guys want old technology? Long story on that, but if you already have this stuff installed in your house and you have things that are ready, they unfortunately you can't switch over now, and you do require LEDs, these would be a much better option because they change their color temperature throughout the day and can go from very blue in the morning to very warm at night, which is also very imperative that you're doing to do not screw up your circadian biology. So there's that. They also offer night lights that are in the red range because you really shouldn't be waking up in the middle of the night and having like a blaring night light in your kid's room. That's blue light. That's totally screwing up their screwing up their melatonin as well. So that's another thing. And the other thing that they offer right now is that they're offering 25 to 50% off on select items. So that's again for tonight, but they also offer cheaper options for some of these blue blockers, especially for things like kids who might be breaking these things all the time. So they offer, and you can get them in packages where you can buy a package and get both the amber and the red ones so that you can switch them up and they come in a pair already. So that's one of the reasons why I offer that. The next thing I have there is, you'll see on my bio that I talk about the Supersona, Photon, Genius, and Genie. This is not something I'm going to get into too much detail here. This is the pieces, this is the equipment I used for electromedicine, light therapy, ozone therapy, and I've been using this stuff now. So we've had our Photon Genius, and this is not like an item that you can just like go pick up. This piece of equipment was over $30,000, and the reason why I decided to bring it to Canada and start my studio was to really help people who were trying to detoxify who are struggling with chronic illnesses. However, if it's something that you're interested in, you can contact us via email. We can put you into contact with the people that we deal with over there at the Skilling Institute. They do offer a smaller machine that's much more affordable. We're talking, depending on where you're from, like with the conversion, we're talking about equipment that's anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 that would give you electromedicine light therapy on a much smaller scale, as well as ozone. And that's much more affordable for a lot of people. We actually started out with that equipment first because of our Lyme disease. And then later on in life, I was having to travel out to the United States to use this equipment, and Kevin was having to get on a plane to go and use this out in BC. So we eventually decided to bite the bullet and finance our own equipment and that's where I started my business. So if you guys are interested in the Super Sauna Photon Genius, a lot of people think this is just a sauna, like an infrared sauna. It's not an infrared sauna, it's an energy sauna. So if you're interested in that at all, send me an email, because I'm not going to talk about a piece of equipment of that caliber on my in my DMs. So you can send me an email there. The other thing is, however, for an in-home unit, if you're really interested in like light therapy and like red light therapy, or specifically near infrared, and there's a lot of benefits from doing far infrared heat as well as near infrared heat. Our Super Sauna Photon Genius does it all. It does everything from near, mid, and far. It does light therapy, full spectrum light therapy. It does electromedicine. Oh, like I said, we do like ozone. It does vibration, like vibrational stuff, all that stuff. But if you obviously can't afford that, the other thing I would say maybe look into is getting a few standard near infrared bulbs, or even a near infrared sauna for your home. There's so many benefits for doing red light therapy. Again, I feel that it helps to balance out all of this blue that we're exposed to. The other thing, guys and ladies specifically, I know men are going to care about this too, but is that blue light actually damages the collagen in your skin. So if you spend a lot of time in front of a computer or a cell phone, and I've noticed this personally myself, it actually starts to make your skin look terrible, and it tends to make your skin look a little bit more saggy. Again, blue light can be used for things like acne and stuff like that, but only when you're using this light in conjunction with red, in my opinion. So when you use so I'm just going to give you a primary example. On my bio, we use a company called Ruby Lux Bulbs, and she also offers red light sauna systems. So right now they're doing this. It's 20% off. This also will end tonight. Her bulbs have been the most affordable bulbs I've ever seen, so that's why we use hers. And also her red light system could be kind of set up anywhere, and it is also one of the most affordable systems that I've seen out there. But you have to spend over $75, I believe, to get the 20% off. So the thing is her bulbs offer near infrared heat. And the thing with near infrared heat, it helps to increase collagen, skin elasticity. It relieves pain, which is why I started using it originally, but noticed great results with my skin. It relieves pain, and it speeds healing. These bulbs in particular, the reason why I use them, you can buy really cheap bulbs online, guys, but you got to be careful, because some of them actually emit some type of UV radiation. Others can actually contain toxic Teflon, fluoridated. Some of them can give off fluoridated fumes, even mercury vapor. And so these ones were specifically are non-toxic and don't emit any type of toxic substances, and no far infrared heat either. So they were certified, they were CE certified as well, and according to their website, they're one of the safest brands out there. So that's why I recommend them. A lot of people are doing things like red light panels now that again use LEDs. Like you might have heard of some of these things like the Juve, and I know even True Dark offers one as well. I have no experience with that, with those pieces, so I don't really recommend them. I'm not saying that they're bad. I've heard great things about these panels. A lot of people absolutely love them. It's just that, again, my husband is really weary about LEDs, period. So he's like, unless we've had more experience personally on ourselves, we don't really, like I said before, we don't really like to recommend things that we haven't used personally ourselves. So that is kind of why we recommend the old-fashioned red bulbs as well as near infrared, as opposed to these LED panels. So that's something there. Another thing is Healthy Line Amethyst pads and bolster pillows. Again, guys, when you shop through our affiliate links, then you can get a bit of a discount there. The thing about them is they offer various different pads. So you'd have to look at it and take a look. But the idea is that when you use some of their products, like for instance, I actually wrote everything out or else I would forget stuff. So like, first of all, you would use these pads. Some people use them for pain management. And that's predominantly what a lot of people will use these pads for, is pain management or light detoxification. So some of them actually only include like far infrared heat, but some of them also include PEMF therapy and negative ions and, like I said, far infrared heat. So that's predominantly what I have a bolster pillow for. I use it for like neck pain and stuff like that. But if you wanted to purchase the full pad, you can do that as well. I never really had to do that because I do use red light therapy regularly and I use my Supersonic Photon Genius. But this might be another option for people that, say, for instance, can't afford a sauna that costs like $30,000, right? So that might be something you want to look into. I don't want to get into this in full details here, but PEMF therapy, a lot of people love it and swear by it. But again, there are some things that my husband is not quite certain about when it comes to PEMF therapy. So I'm just going to put it out there that use that with caution, just because he says that some PEMF therapy could potentially be giving off some harmful EMF. So that's something you'd have to look into yourself, because like I said, I don't use PEMF therapy, but I do have plenty of colleagues that do use it and they swear by it and they absolutely love it, especially for reducing pain. So another thing is, guys, structured water. Structured water, I literally, we've been talking about how we would have to do a video all to itself on structured water. Water is so important when you're detoxifying the body. Water is so important when you're struggling from an illness. Water is so important for life. So I tell everyone, especially here in Ontario, that a recent study showed that our water was very contaminated with lead and that everybody should be filtering and structuring the water. Filtered water is not the same thing as structured water. Structured water is the fourth phase of water. It's a very organized type of water. The idea is that it's more hydrophilic, which means water loving. Therefore, it's smaller. It can get into the cells more easily and hydrates you just much better. However, I always feel like structured water should be created out of water that's already been cleaned, whereas some people will argue that you only need to structure water and somehow that breaks the chemical bonds in the water. So if there's chlorine in the water, fluoride, those things become inert and they don't bother you anyway. Personally, Kevin and I, we don't recommend that. We recommend that people filter the water first to get it into its purest state, first and foremost, and then you restructure the water. The idea is that water is dead water when it's not structured. Therefore, it doesn't look the same under a microscope as water that would be considered living water, which is what structured water is. Living water has these beautiful crystalline structures, and usually you would find living water in glaciers, or you would find living water after it's gone through the whole mineralization process of being in a natural spring. So that's what structured water is. It's kind of replicating the cleanest sources and living sources of water on the planet. But because our water comes through these underwater pipeways and it gets, they put chemicals in it, obviously to kill off any possible bacterial stuff or cystic stuff in the water. I always personally say, and plus fluoride as well. So I personally say, we always say to people, we recommend cleaning the water first and then restructuring the water. So we offer 2 units for structuring water, just strictly structuring the water, not cleaning the water, but structuring it. So the Hydriva is a whole home unit, and that is put on the intake coming into your house. So that cleans all the water in your home, structures the water in all of your home. And then we have a portable water unit that you can literally just put anything through the top and it'll structure anything, including juice, coffee, or anything like that. Most people use the portable unit if they, like, say for instance, live in a condo and they can't change out all of the water right now, or people use it for a portable device, like, so they're going to take it when they travel. Most other people will get a Hydriva unit put into the main pipeline in their entire house. So we have actually 2 structurizers, because every time your water goes through some type of a filtration system, so our water is really hard here in Mississauga, so we have all of our water going through a carbon filter. All the water in the house goes through a carbon filter and a water softener, and then that water is sent through our structurizer to structure and, you know, clean out the water, and and to take the chlorine out. That goes to all of our showers. But then we have another drinking water system that was installed by Culligan, which I'm now working with a company called, as an affiliate for a company called Live Pristine. Their filtration system and structurizing system is very similar to the one that we've built in our home, because we've had structured water and filtration now for way before these things became mainstream. So Kevin literally had to build ours. So we basically purchased a really high quality Culligan reverse osmosis system and mineralizer. And then we have a structurizer after that, because anytime you force the water to go through some type of a system, you need to restructure it again. I hope that makes sense. So now what we're telling to people is like you can still do the Culligan and then put the structurizer after that, because Culligan, the good thing about them, I don't affiliate for them or anything like that, it's just that they've been around for like 30 or 40 years, so you can get parts for them very, very easily if something, and you can get the filters, the change out filters very easily from them here in Canada, that is anyways. However, it looks like Live Pristine, like I said, is very similar. But I don't use their filtration system, but it is very similar to what we have in our Culligan. And it looks like they also incorporate structurizing the water at the end. We've looked at their technology that they're using at the end, which kind of is like crystal technology. I don't know that I necessarily 100% believe in that. It's not that I don't think their filtration system is really great. You might want to use them just for that. But I think I would still put one of our structurizers on after that, because the guy that we work with, so we work with Hydriva, and the gentleman that we work with is one of the only people in North America that actually has 2 patents on his structurizing system. So he can actually show you the patents that these things do what they say they do, because there's a lot of people promoting structured water out there. And honestly, Kevin and I looked at some of the science and some of their schematics and stuff, and Kevin's like, I don't really know that they understand what structured water really is. However, the gentleman that developed Hydriva, he's been, water science has been his science for the last 20 or 30 years, and he's worked with people like Gerald Pollack and stuff like that, and Masarumoto. So our system was the system that was used in those experiments that some people might remember as Masarumoto's studies. So that's why I recommend that. So there's that. When you shop through us for Hydriva or the Natural Actions, we have some of the better prices in Canada and the United States. So that might be something you want to consider again, but you can get these things other places as well. Live Pristine, I don't think that they're having any special. Their water system, just like Culligan's, is around $2,000 for their drinking water system. If you're doing a whole home system, of course, these things will get much more expensive. Not Live Pristine, but through Culligan. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, and this video is going to be really long, is Touchstone Essentials Organic Whole Food Supplements and Pure Body Liquid Zeolites. I personally, guys, I'm getting a lot of questions about liquid zeolites right now, and a lot of people are asking me about TRS. TRS, yes, I believe it's TRS. I know I looked at them many years ago, and again, don't hold me to this, but if I'm not mistaken, I think I came across a lawsuit with that company and how they were watering down their product. And so and again, it could be somebody else, but I'm pretty sure it was them. So when people are asking me why I would use Touchstone over them, first of all, I've looked into Touchstone. I've done a lot of research on them. They are one of the cleanest ones out there. Other non-toxic, clean consumers also recommend their product over others. And I just felt like the company's very transparent. I love the fact that they use organic whole foods and for other stuff. So that's why I use this company in particular. And like I said, when I looked at TRS back in the day, I'm pretty sure one of the first things that popped up was that there was some type of legal issue that they were going through. So right off the bat, I was just like, I don't want to deal with any of that. Even if their product's good, it could be a complete, like they could have figured that all out, and it could be a great product. I don't know. So you guys could go ahead and use it if you want. The only other thing about liquid zeolites, guys, I mentioned this in a previous video. I am very skeptical about using supplements that are nanoparticles or nanoparticle size, just because I'm concerned about what that might do to the DNA long term. And if I'm not mistaken, they don't offer an option that's not nanoparticle size. The liquid zeolites that I use is the basic one, not the one that's the nanoparticle size by Touchstone, the stronger one. Again, if you feel comfortable using this type of technology, then by all means, Touchstone Essentials actually offers both, which is the idea is that the liquid zeolites, the regular one, is more of like a gut cleanse, as opposed to an intercellular heavy metal detox cleanse. So it really depends on what you're using the zeolites for. You got to be really careful with other zeolites out there, guys, because unless they purify and cleanse the zeolite properly, you can actually be doing more harm than good, because some of them can be quite toxic. So that's why I use Touchstone Essentials. I do not use liquid zeolites as I use it as a bowel cleanse and when I am eating food, so that I'm not reabsorbing or collecting or poisoning myself with even more heavy metals. It'll catch whatever's in the bowel, the regular size one. The idea is that the nanoparticle size stuff is that it goes intercellularly to pull out old heavy metals and toxins. I don't use that intercellularly. I use a product called, which is on my list as well. I use a product called fulvic ionic minerals. This is also produced naturally by the earth. It's basically natural compost. And if you're going to only take one supplement, by all means, I would say the one supplement you should consider. I mean, there would be three really, and that would be a real high quality vitamin C, especially right now. And then a high quality, this one is the one I'm going to talk about, is fulvic acid. And the other one would be some type of an omega-3 fatty acid. I mean, you could probably throw probiotics in there, but you could eliminate those if you ate fermented foods. So, but if you couldn't only afford to take one supplement to like really optimize your health, and because, and I don't really particularly like multivitamins and minerals that are made from synthetic sources. I worked for a company for many years, and a lot of it was synthetic sources. I just don't think I don't think it's quite as bioavailable, and I don't think the body utilizes that stuff very well. So I use fulvic acid, and fulvic acid in itself will help to clean up the body cellularly. So I use zeolites and fulvic ionic minerals together to clean up the intestine as well as the inner parts of my cells. So the thing about fulvic acid is that it also can help ward off infections, so viral, bacterial, parasitic infections. It's an amazing electrolyte. It helps to build the enzymes of the stomach. So if you're suffering with a gut problem, especially like SIBO, it can help to kill that off over time. So you got to be very careful with this supplement though, because it's very, very, very powerful, and you need to implement it and start it very slow. It can start pulling heavy metals out of the system. Oh my gosh, guys, it provides you with majority of your vitamins and minerals. So it is just a great all around, basically like the earth's natural multi-mineral and vitamins. So that is why my husband and I take that on a regular basis. I take this every day, been doing so for years. So that is by Optimally Organic, and I don't believe they have a special on right now either, but when you shop their website through my links, then they'll give you a 5% discount on that. Again, Touchstone Essentials as well, guys. They are, let me just check. I think they might be holding a special right now until the end of tonight. But if they're not, then they offer anybody who shops their site through me, again, 10% when you guys use my codes that are in my bio. The other thing is, I mentioned the other two items that you would want to consider taking as part of your supplement would be vitamin C and some type of omega-3 fatty acid. I really love two. I sell one, which is hemp seed oil, which is not to be confused. Hemp seed oil and hemp oil or THC oil or marijuana oil. These are not to be confused with that. I sell hemp seed oil. It's an omega fat, so it contains 3, 6, and 9 in the perfect ratio that the body needs, and it has a high amount of GLA, which is great for your skin, but it is also said that GLA is a great omega to really reduce inflammation. So I personally take that. It is also great for people who are vegan. So that's another source. And this one in particular is all the hemp is actually grown here in Canada in a really clean source out in Nova Scotia, and it is all extracted in a dark room because hemp seed oil and a lot of omega essential fatty acids are very they can be very volatile and they can go very rancid if exposed to oxygen or light. So they make sure to extract all of the oil in a dark room and put it into an encapsulation that's also dark. So that is to not expose it, of course, to light or oxygen so that it doesn't go rancid. So I carry those, and I do the pills, I do an oil, and I also do the oil for dogs as well. My mom has been using this oil, and several of my other clients have been using this on their older pets that have joint issues, and they have literally seen their dogs change overnight. It can really help your animal's coat. It helps them to shed less. It helps their breath. It helps them to smell less. So, and it also helps, and taking hemp seed oil, an animal taking hemp seed oil is a natural repellent against ticks as well. So that is something else to look at on my website. Again, I sell that out of here, so I would have to ship that to you from here. Unfortunately, guys, I can only ship in Canada. There is all these rules and regulations about shipping any type of hemp products over the border. But if you're interested in some of this stuff and you email me, I might be able to find somebody who's distributing this product in your state if you're in the United States. So that's something else there. The other thing is, on my website, it has the Canadian version of the Liposomal vitamin C. I am not selling that one anymore because I went back to my original formula, which was the Live On Labs, the American version. Guys, vitamin C, this liposomal vitamin C, it's not like regular vitamin C. Most vitamin C, unfortunately, most vitamin C goes right through your system in your urine. This is highly absorbable. You will not be peeing out most of this vitamin C. Your body will absorb it. And I honestly started taking this supplement probably 10 years ago, and it is like night and day for my energy, for my pain, and for not getting anything. I have not had so much as a sniffle, a cough, or a cold since 2010. I would say was the last time I probably had anything. The last time I had a flu was even before that, and I wasn't taking this at that time. But whenever, the only time I've ever been sick in the last couple of years is when I'm doing my detox to get rid of all the parasitic infections that I had and the bacterial infections I had from my Lyme disease. And I would have to use high amounts of vitamin C to help with some of those detoxification reactions because it would just help to naturally make me feel better. So I was doing a lot of IV vitamin C, so where I'm getting vitamin C directly put into my vein, and it was 25,000 milligrams that I was getting on a regular basis. But I don't know if anybody's ever done IVC. They are super expensive here in Canada. They could be anywhere, depending on who you go to, it could be like anywhere from $120 for 25,000 milligrams to up to $200 if you need more than that. So I was doing this 3 times a week. So I was literally working a job to pay for vitamin C and IV nutrients when I couldn't absorb food back in 2016 because my gut was so damaged. And prior to that, I got sick in 2008. And it wasn't until I started using vitamin C. At first, I was only using like 1,000 milligrams, but then I kind of realized that somebody had said to me, if you use 6,000 milligrams of it, it's very similar. I mean, it could be expensive because the box itself is $49.95 and it's only 30 packets, and each packet carries 1,000 milligrams. But if you take up to 6 of those, the box would go quite quickly. But I found that taking up to 6 of them, and my husband found this too, he would take up to 10 because he's much bigger than me, that it seemed, the feeling that I got was very similar to getting an IV infusion. So instead of getting IV infusions when I was feeling under the weather, and because this is highly absorbable and you can take it by mouth, I started doing tons and tons of Live On Labs vitamin C. So again, guys, it is near impossible to overload yourself on vitamin C. Unfortunately, it's the only vitamin that animals will produce vitamin C by themselves, but unfortunately humans do not. So you do need to get it from your diet. And unfortunately, most of us are not doing that. And most of us that are taking other vitamin C supplements are taking vitamin C supplements that unfortunately your body's probably possibly absorbing maybe like a little bit more than 50% of it, and the rest of it's being peed out, right? So because it's a water soluble vitamin too. So the thing is that they've got a patented delivery system where they put it into liposomes, and it's almost like a jelly fat substance. A lot of people, when I give it to them for the first time, because I give a packet to all of my clients that come to use my machines to help, you know, with any detoxification reactions, a lot of people will be like, oh, it's kind of nasty. It doesn't really taste like anything, but the consistency is like a jelly. So that's something else. The reason why they've developed this is because the idea is that, and it's really great for us, for those of us that are having problems with absorption, if we have gut diseases, because it actually gets absorbed through the mucosal linings of the mouth and the throat as opposed to the stomach. So I know for me that was very, very important, because my stomach with my Crohn's disease was a mess, and my large bowel was a mess. So this I could take pretty much without having any type of reaction or any gut pain, because regular vitamin C would often leave me with a sour taste in my mouth and a really sore stomach. So you won't get that from this. So that's that one there. I sell this out of my facility too. I usually carry fulvic acid on hand, zeolites on hand, hemp oil on hand, and vitamin C. There's a lot of people asking me right now, my zeolites and my fulvic acid right now are sold out. I sold out this weekend. So unfortunately, guys, you would have to order directly from the companies. But like I said, if you use my links, they'll give you guys the discounts anyways. So it might actually even be cheaper to order directly from them, because after all these closures and all that, I just stopped carrying most of my products in-house, just because a lot of people stopped coming, because I try to stay open. And I did have some people coming to the house off and on, but a lot of people were scared to come out. So I only carry select items now, and those two are big time top sellers. So those are both sold out. So unfortunately, the only problem with that is if you have to order zeolites from this company and fulvic from this company, you're going to have to pay those shipping, those shipping costs. And if you want to order something from me, that shipping cost as well. So I understand that's a bit of a pain. But until I figure that out, I can't do anything about it right now. The other thing is, there is a lot of supplements that I recommend often. So I started working with iHerb, and that's just because they offer tons of professional line supplements, as well as other supplements that I've been using over the years. I couldn't go to all these companies and say, hey, can you offer discounts? It would just be my affiliation lists, which would be just so long, and to set up all those codes. So instead I went to one company who basically sells it all, and that's iHerb. They sell everything, all types of supplements. They sell natural cosmetics. They sell natural personal hygiene products. So if you don't want to have to shop at a million different places, you guys can use them. Right now, they're holding a special as well for 12% off, and that's only until the end of tonight. Normally, if you shop, and actually some of their products are like up to 50% off, so you might be able to save there. Normally, however, I'm only able to offer 5% on your orders from them when you use my codes, and that's again in my bio. So even if you don't shop tonight, that's something to keep in mind for the future when you're buying your products and you want to save a little bit of money. The next thing, guys, is Alamax. I used tons of garlic supplements while I was healing from my Lyme disease and my autoimmune disease to help with various different things with viral and parasitic and bacterial infections. I am now using a company called Alamax. It is supposed to be really, really potent. And I specifically started carrying this one because I was using it with people who have SIBO. So, which could be a problem using garlic supplements with SIBO patients because of the sulfur in it. But this one seems to be somewhat tolerated by these people, so that is why I'm recommending it. They also came out with a recent formula called Alamed, which is really potent. And this one, they've got some research showing that it helps with Lyme symptoms. So guys, if you're interested in that, again, check out my link. They don't have discounts, unfortunately, and I was going to be a wholesaler to carry this stuff in-house here in Ontario because it's going to be hard to get some of the stuff here in Canada. But I've decided to not hold off on that for right now, because when I carry supplements in-house and those things don't sell off as quickly as I buy them, supplements have expiration dates on them. So like I said, I'm trying to get away from selling supplements and just working with these people as an affiliate for them. So when you purchase through them, they give me a small, tiny commission, but in turn, you're buying it directly from the manufacturer. They'll ship it to you and all that. So there's that. Enviromedica, I use them. So Enviromedica is topical magnesium and magnesium salts for your bath. So I use this stuff all the time. I used to take magnesium glycinate by mouth or Therinate, and I do still put that into my smoothie sometimes. But sometimes, you know, I don't want to be popping pills all day long. So if I have some aches and pains, I will use topical magnesium. So that's why I promote Enviromedica. Right now, they're also holding a special for 30% off. That's one of the biggest specials I've seen on their products, and they're really good and they're highly absorbable through the skin. So this is to get magnesium. Guys, magnesium also is very, very important, whether you get it through your, like putting it into your bath water or topically or even orally or even through your diet, making sure. It's just very difficult to get magnesium these days because a lot of our foods are very depleted in minerals, specifically magnesium. And magnesium is primarily responsible for so many different chemical reactions that happen in the body, but is also in most cases much more important for specifically, well, men and women, but women than over calcium for bone health. A lot of people think calcium is more important, but in many ways, if you're taking, like I said, I work for a company and they would tell us to recommend calcium to women most often, but after women started taking a mass amount of calcium supplements here in the Western world, heart attacks and strokes went up, because the idea is that you need to have the proper amount of calcium to magnesium ratio. And if you're taking too much calcium, then what's actually happening is now you're putting this calcium into your arteries and it's not being absorbed and pulled in through the bone, which you need the magnesium to do. So I tell people it's probably better to take magnesium, especially if you're possibly suffering with bone pain and muscle pain and stuff like that, than it is to take calcium. So I hope that makes sense. I personally don't take calcium supplements at all, and it was recommended that I do because when I got because of my Crohn's disease, when they looked at my spine, I had tons of problems with my spine as well as what looked like the beginning stages of osteoporosis. But instead what I do now is a mineral supplement like fulvic acid and do topical magnesium. So I use them. The other reason why magnesium is really important, because magnesium will naturally kind of take care of your sleep. So if you're having problems with sleeping, you want to up your magnesium. It may help you with sleeping. Some people will take magnesium along with melatonin. I don't really like taking melatonin supplements for a prolonged period of time because it is a hormone, and I think your body should be producing that naturally through the light cycles as opposed to orally. But if you have to take it for short periods of time, that might be okay as well. The other thing is magnesium gets totally killed when you're not sleeping properly or when you're exposed to too much blue light. So that's another reason why it's important. When your diet is crap, you will not be getting enough magnesium. And if you're suffering with chronic illness, infection, pain, but most importantly, any type of stress, you drink alcohol, you deplete your magnesium like crazy. And especially if you're having things like adrenal fatigue, magnesium is very, very important. And I don't know who the hell's not suffering from stress right now with everything that's going on in the world. So that's another reason why I recommend that mineral specifically. Okay, another thing is Zion Health. This is a natural company that I started working with about a year or two ago when I tried out their natural deodorant. I don't know about you ladies, but I've gone through a million natural deodorants. I don't know what the hell's wrong with some of them. Some of them actually make you stink even worse than if you put nothing on at all. And Zion Health along with Schmidt's were the only two that I ever found really helped me. I did I don't want to get into all that in details, but I did find I did do a video about all of this on my YouTube channel if you wanted to check it out. By the way, I have a YouTube channel and I do some product reviews on there, and some of these products were actually reviewed on there. So if you wanted to check it out, just head on to it's the healinghandsduo.ca. I use my .ca for my YouTube channel, and my .com is my business page. So I did a video about that. However, they also carry a whole entire line of skincare, natural skincare, and other personal hygiene products. So again, guys, I wouldn't say they're the cleanest source out there, but they are definitely more natural than what you would pick up at at a regular grocery store or pharmacy. So I would highly recommend that for all the women and men out there, that you start thinking about this stuff, because whatever you put on top of your skin is going to end up in your bloodstream and is going to add to your toxic load. So I really like their deodorant, and I've used that, and I still do use that actually. And the other two that I tried some of their hair salts recently, their hair salt scrubs, and I found they're a little bit too fragrant for me. I have problems with scents. So when I smell strong perfume or unnatural scents, I tend to get a bit of a headache. So I didn't particularly care for that. So I asked them if it was a natural scent or an artificial one, and they did confirm that it was an artificial, partially natural, partially artificial. So I wasn't too crazy about that. But another thing I'm using of theirs that was amazing was their glycolic acid peel mask. And it's not quite a peel, it's more or less like a mud mask, and that uses things like bentonite clay, which I talk about bentonite clay a lot, and I love bentonite clay. I use another company for my bentonite clay because I actually ingest bentonite clay for detoxification as well, and you can either use zeolites or bentonite clay. But again, you need to make sure that you're using a really clean source of bentonite clay if you're going to be ingesting this. And you should really want to use a clean source if you're putting it on your skin topically. But anyway, I found that this was a great option too, because they use bentonite clay in conjunction with glycolic acid. So I use their mask once a week to kind of clean up my skin, and I find it really helps. So that's something there. Again, guys, I believe they are holding some specials, but you'll have to double check that. Another one here is Organic Aromas Essential Oils. So I'm not like I don't know tons of information about essential oils. I did a video on it again on my YouTube channel, so you guys can check that out. But I don't ingest essential oils. I have my reservations about that, but I'm not saying that you can't get great results from doing that. And there's a lot of MLM companies out there like doTERRA and what's the other one? Young Living, and a lot of women swear by these essential oils, and I don't doubt it for a second. I personally did not use those MLM companies because I found the prices were very expensive, and I thought there were kind of better options to go directly to the source. So the two essential oils that I use, and I predominantly use them for topical applications or for diffusion, is Organic Aromas and Pranarome. I don't affiliate for Pranarome or anything like that. That's actually a pharmaceutical grade essential oil, and actually I think they sell it in the pharmacies in France, and it is also available here in Canada. So they're great, and they have ingestible essential oils that are already in formulas that are safe to take. So I recommend them if you're thinking about ingesting essential oils. And only using the ones that they recommend. I also really recommend them if you can find them at one of your local stores or whatnot. However, I started using Organic Aromas because they reached out to me and wanted to send me a free essential oils diffuser. And I've been wanting to buy one of their diffusers forever because I was really iffy about putting essential oils into first of all, in my studio, I wanted to use a waterless system diffuser or nebulizer because I didn't want to put too much water into my studio, which is out of my basement, and I didn't want to have too much humidity down there in the summer months, especially with all the heat because of mold issues. So I went ahead and they sent me one of their glass diffusers. I love it. I love their glass diffuser. The only thing about it is it only stays on for 2 hours, so that you'd have to turn it back on. And it is very, very fragrant for those 2 hours. And then after that, the smell kind of dissipates. But I use it predominantly, like I said, for sessions, and I use it for short, and I use it predominantly to nebulize an essential, high quality essential oil. It does go through essential oils quite quickly, so that's something to think about. But anyway, long story short, they have told me, I believe they're having a special on right now as well. And let me just see if I can find it. I have a video about essential oils and how to select high quality essential oils on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out. But I want to say they're having a 20% off discount right now, but you can check that out on their website. When you use my link, it'll send you there, and then I think you can take advantage of their 20% off essential oils as well as their nebulizers. Like I said, I have their white one with their magnetic pull away cord, and I really love it. It does need to be cleaned a little bit more often than a regular one, but like I said, plastic degrades when you put essential oils on it. So there's a lot of plastic diffusers out there, and I've always wondered if that plastic was degrading and then you were kind of putting that into the air and breathing that in, whereas this is completely glass, and I like that idea. The other two things is, the reason why I keep buying their essential oils is they have two that I really, really love. Wintergreen and their signature blend. Oh my gosh. They're like, their signature blend, anytime I put that on, like I had somebody in here to service my hot water tank the other day, and these guys were wearing masks, and they both walked in and they were just like, oh my gosh, it smells so great in here. What is that scent? What is that scent? And I was like, oh, it's, organic aromas, essential oils, like their signature blend. And I know they weren't listening, but that scent in itself, guys, it's to die for. I absolutely love it. It's like one of my favorites. So check that out. The other thing is, I know this video is going to be like an hour long. So the other thing is Extrema Healthy Ceramic Non-Toxic Cookware. I have been using Extrema now for ceramic cookware now for, I don't know, probably 10 years, maybe between 9 and 10 years. I can't really remember when I bought it. But the reason why I did that was because when I started getting really intense about eliminating the heavy metals from my body, one of the things that kept coming back was, what do you cook your food in? Are you using, toxic metals to cook your food? Are you using, cheaper quality stainless steel items that even possibly reduce nickel possibly allow nickel into your food? Or is it that you're using, even worse, I was using non-stick stuff with Teflon and PFOA, and I read all the horror stories about that. And then so I went on this 1 year long obsession on trying to detoxify my kitchen and find the best of the best out there. And, that just led down one rabbit hole into another. So I ended up replacing pretty much everything in my kitchen at one point over that course of that year. And I eventually started buying 1 or 2 items from Extrema's line until I was able to have an entire set of the bakeware systems as well as the pots and the pans. Again, are they as easy to use as nonstick? Obviously not. You have to apply some type of nonstick oil to them. I use coconut oil all the time when I'm using them, but the one thing that's really great is that you can use them on top of the stove and as well as in the stove, and they really retain their heat really, really well. So you never really have to use them above low to medium heat. So that's a great thing right there. The other thing is they're completely non-toxic. A lot of people have asked me about the ceramic glazes, and some people have mentioned that they were made in China. But if you look at them, they were actually, where I found out about them originally was from Dr. Marcola, because he was selling them on his website. But then I just started buying them directly from the company and from another company here, a little shop here in Ontario. But anyway, the other reason why I mentioned that is because I've even found that there was a story that I had read, and I mentioned this in a video that I did about, I called it Detoxify Your Kitchen. It's on my website, on my YouTube channel again. So if you want to watch it, go ahead and do that. But there was a woman who they found, I think it was a cheese grater, there was a man in there testing for, I don't know why he was in there testing for radiation, and he found that there was radioactive particles in a cheese grater because it was made from recycled metal. And I'm assuming this cheese grater probably came, I don't know. Somebody said it came from a dollar store, but I don't know, guys. That's just something to be careful about when you're using metal in your kitchen, that you know where that metal's coming from. Even if you're using stainless steel, make sure your pots and pans are high quality stainless steel. I do use stainless steel for my cutlery, but I bought that again from a company who mentions and says that they do not use any toxic heavy metals. They don't use any mercury. They don't use any cadmium, and they don't use any lead and various different things. So that's all on that video on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out. Once I started switching those out, I started getting obsessed with cutting boards, because I found that cutting boards, I was just reading about how so many of them use mineral oils to seal the cutting boards, and I love a wooden cutting board. I hate plastic cutting boards, and actually when I looked into that, I found out that cutting boards that are made of plastic although people think they're cleaner because you can shove them in your dishwasher, when they actually tested a plastic cutting board, they found that there was more bacteria on a plastic cutting board than a wooden one. So that's something to keep in mind. Not to mention, I hate using plastic in my kitchen because of the BPA and all that and all the other endocrine disruptors. So that's something to think about. So when I was looking at the wooden ones, though, they were all like, oh, this one's put together with this glue, and this glue is really, really toxic, and this one uses mineral oil, and that's really toxic. So I was like, holy shit, like everything in the world's toxic. So I started looking, and sure enough, I came across this one article where this woman was recommending this company that was actually not too far from where I live here in Ontario. And when I looked it up, I was just flabbergasted. Like, first of all, his pieces are beautiful, and secondly, everything, at the time I got mine custom made. I don't think he's making them custom anymore, but he does offer various different sizes, and everything was obviously made with love and handmade. So they're on the more on the costly side, but again, it's handmade quality, and it's all about really supporting our small businesses right now. So that's one of the reasons why I affiliate for him too. And because, like I said, the one thing that I remember with my grandparents growing up, my grandfather's long gone now, was that my grandfather had this amazing, beautiful chopping block, solid piece of wood for cooking, and he was a great cook, and he used this thing, and they had it for like 30 years or something like that, maybe even longer. And I always thought, like, you know what, I want to invest in a really good chopping block. So yes, I did pay, I believe mine was about $300, but I've had it for several years now, and it's perfect so long as you properly clean it using a little bit of kosher salt and you regularly season it. I actually season mine. They sell a walnut oil, which I have to get more of because walnut oil hardens more than coconut oil, but I actually season mine regularly with coconut oil because coconut oil is naturally, it does not oxidize, and it naturally is a disinfectant for the cutting board as well. The other thing is I also clean it with kosher salt and just wipe it down with a little bit of soap and water. I don't always do it, but you should do it like maybe once a week, but I don't always do it. And I just keep a little bit of an oregano, it's called, spray beside my sink, and I actually just spray mine down to disinfect it every couple of days. So anyways, there's that. The Earthware is not having any particular specials for Cyber Monday. However, if you guys do place an order with him, I just want to warn you guys now, he is really backed up. I had another client that ordered one, and it was going to take like several weeks to maybe even more than a month. I think my father-in-law ordered one too, and it took 7 weeks because he is getting such an immense, which is great for him, but he has got such a backlog right now because his boards they've been published in various different health magazines too. So anyway, there's that. There's no particular special on that right now, but check them out. However, the Extrema guys, this is great because some of them are 20 to 25% off right now, and these pots and pans can be quite costly. So anything that you can save on them is worth it. I'm actually thinking about adding one to my collection tonight as well because I needed a bigger stewing pot. So anyway, check that out. Next is Haven Sleep Company. I just recently changed out our mattress because my old mattress sucked, and I was having terrible sleeps on it because it was a coiled mattress. And I've said this in other videos, guys, coiled metal mattresses can actually act like an antenna to pick up even more EMF and actually make your bed basically wired, and all of that EMF is actually coming up through your body as you sleep. So that was predominantly one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to change out the mattress. I've been wanting to do this for years, but just didn't have the money to do it. Our last mattress was completely warped, so we needed to get rid of it. So we just replaced it with a Haven Sleep Company's mattress. It's an it's an all natural foam and latex mattress. It was actually delivered in a box, so it's like a bed in the box. And this one is very, very low on VOCs. They use natural latex sap. They do not use, of course, there's no metal coils in it, and it comes in different softnesses. So you can get one that's firm or you can get one that was softer. I purchased the softest one because I'm the type of person that likes like my bed to feel like a cloud, and I really loved having a pillow top. And I was kind of concerned about that because even though this is chiropractic approved by the Canadian chiropractors, I was kind of concerned because I've slept on other memory foam mattresses that take a little time to get used to. I've had mine now for almost 100 days. I am finding that it is a little bit more firm than I would like. However, I am going to reach out to them probably tonight because you can get an additional topper for it, which I believe is $200 or $300, which just adds an extra layer of softness of latex. Or you can put a topper on it as well, but then that would screw up the cooling sensation of it and all that because there's all this type of technology in it to keep it cooler because memory foam can be quite hot. So anyways, guys, you can check them out. The other thing about memory foam, in most cases, you know, people will be like, well, they're a little bit on the more expensive side. Well, most memory foam is extremely toxic, and it does off gas quite a bit. So I wouldn't ever look at a regular memory foam mattress unless it had all of these certifications on it, which is why we bought Haven. So when you guys shop our website, I know right now, I believe they're also having a special on tonight as well, so you can save a little bit that way. The other thing is, remember, they have two types of mattresses. They have the 14-inch, which does have metal coils in it. That's the pillow top one. I really wanted it, but I found out it had metal coils. So we went with the 10-inch that doesn't, and I'll have to add my own topper to it. So there's that. You guys, like I said, they're holding a special now. If you go through our link, again, that helps to support us, but you can take advantage of their special. If you don't see this until afterward and their special's over, then when you use our discount code in our bio, they'll give you $50 off your next purchase. It's not a lot, but it's something. So there's that. I also at the same time bought what is called a weighted blanket by Hush because I saw them on Dragon's Den, and the idea is that Hush weighted blankets in general are supposed to reduce like anxiety, especially they were recommended that they're used quite a bit with people who are struggling from mental illnesses or people who have, or children or people that have autism. And the idea is that a weighted blanket is just supposed to create a sense of comfort. Apparently it lowers your blood pressure as well. And so with everything that's going on in the world, like I said, I've been having issues sleeping, and I know a lot of that has to do with the fact that my mind is constantly racing and I'm experiencing some anxiety. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go all out. We were switching the bed. I figured I was gonna get new sheets, new bed, and get this blanket. Here's the thing about the blanket. I recommend it on my page because, first of all, I think I bought one that's too heavy for me personally. I only weigh 100 pounds. My husband's 200 pounds. So they say that you really have to buy one that is rated for your body type and your weight. And so I kind of tried to buy one that would fit the entire bed and that would benefit both my husband and I and our weight. So I had to buy one that was maybe a little bit too heavy for me and a little too light for him. So here's the thing. I don't know if this will happen for everybody, but because it is too heavy for me, I can not really pull this thing over me very easily. And I found, because I'm on a new mattress and with the weighted blanket, it's hitting a lot of pressure points in and around my back and my ribs. So I was getting quite a bit of back pain and neck pain when I first started using it. I'm getting more used to it now. But what I would say to you guys is, if it is about you and your husband sleeping in the same bed and you guys are on the same weight, great. But if you're not, and you're the same weight, same height, then great. Then that's, go with whatever one is suited for your body types and your body weight. But if you're such a drastic difference like me and my husband, then I would have to say buy 2 separate blankets and keep it on your side of the bed, because it's definitely too heavy for me, but my husband actually really loves it. He was like, I actually want one heavier. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't a cheap blanket, so we're gonna stick with it. I'm gonna continue to try to see if I'll get used to it, and if not, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fold my end over on his so it makes it heavier for him. The other thing is if you're not a back sleeper, They say you just generally, a lot of people sleep better on their back. So it will kind of force you to sleep on your back, which is what my husband's noticing. He really loves it because it's forcing him to sleep on his back, and he's not tossing and turning throughout the night anymore. So he says he wakes up amazing. He feels so refreshed, and he's having the time of his life with his bed. Whereas me, I've been having a little bit more difficulty really getting used to it. So again, I have them on there because, like I said, for some people, the mattress with the weighted blanket is like heaven on earth, and for some people it takes a little bit longer to get used to. So that's all I'm going to say there. Just make sure you pick the right weighted blanket for your height and your weight. Next, I'm going to talk about, and I believe they're doing $40 off right now if you place your order by the end of tonight. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is okay, no, that's the end of the line, which is good because this video is going to be really long. But the other thing is I've got several other companies that I'm waiting for affiliations on right now. So when I get those, and if they offer an additional discount, I will be sure to add them to my list or to my website and get that up and running. I want to add all this stuff to my website under my recommendations page, but that's going to take some time. So if you go to my main page, this information will be under my Linktree account. So on my main page of my website, if you go down, it'll say our recommendations. If you click that button, it'll take you to the Linktree as opposed to the actual my recommendations on the website section, which is not updated just yet. So that's if you're not buying any of this stuff today, but you want to keep it on the back burner and reference it for later on. My Linktree will be up on my Instagram and my Instagram link always, and it'll be a link that's attached to my YouTube channel as well as my Facebook page, so you can always refer back for any of that stuff. I think that's it. I know that's very long, but if there's any questions about any of this stuff that I'm talking about here, guys, like I said, I'm really working towards adding a few more things for the kitchen and that I'm using currently, and I'm looking to add an air purifier that I'm using as well, but I didn't add it to my suggestion or my recommendations list because I didn't get those affiliations yet or anything like that. And I'm looking at adding one more company for EMF stuff because a lot of people keep asking me about EMF blocking clothing. So again, guys, I don't use EMF blocking clothing. I know people that use it very successfully, but because I carry my portable Blue Shield device with me everywhere I go and my house is equipped with a cube, I don't really worry about it as much. So however, if you are a woman that's got breast implants or something along those lines and you want to add extra protection there, because breast implants can cause breast implant sickness, and from what I understand, some of them can actually contain some heavy metals that do pick up radiation quite badly, unfortunately, from the environment. So a lot of women are finding that they're having chest pain now or having what they call breast implant sickness. So wearing an EMF t-shirt or a bra or something along those lines might help with that. And a lot of men, my husband does have some like organic underwear and stuff like that. Men that, say if you're working with high amounts of EMF, say this is your alignment or something, you want to protect that situation too. They do have underwear for that too. Okay, guys, I'm going to cut it off here. I'm going to try and upload this. I don't know where, but if you have any questions, please don't DM those questions to me right now. I would really appreciate it if you would. I mean, you can, but I might not get back to them right away because I'm just getting a ton of them. I had a video that had over 90,000 views, so I'm getting tons and tons and tons of DMs on that. So instead, send an email to my business email address, which is thehealinghensduo@gmail.com. Okay? Perfect, guys. I'll see you in the next one. And then I do have another video that I want to upload about some information that I found out at the recent rally. So stay tuned for that.